Humans were made to find our glory in God. Glory is a great Old Testament word for dignity and honor. God himself is our glory, Psalm 3 verse 3 says. He's the one who lifts up our heads. But since the first sins, humans have wanted to experience glory apart from God. We feel that we shouldn't need God to be great. We're tempted to lift ourselves up. But that temptation exposes our folly. We cannot make ourselves great. We're like a child who tries to get taller by lifting up on his own ears. It doesn't work, and God wouldn't allow it anyway. He sits above us, as Psalm 75 verse 7 says, to execute judgment. He does so with equity, verse 7. He puts down some and lifts up others. He does that, verse 7 says. In warning against self-exaltation, God uses the common Old Testament image of a horn as a symbol of strength. Listen, for example, to how Moses describes the tribe of Joseph in Deuteronomy 33, verse 17. He says, Joseph is a firstborn bull. He has majesty, and his horns are the horns of a wild ox. A charging bull channels his massive strength into the tips of his terrible horns. And we want to be like that, strong enough to demand respect and command our own destiny. But our strength can actually take us away from the Lord. The judge says to the boastful in verse 4, do not boast, and to the wicked, do not lift up your horn. Verse 10 says, all the horns of the wicked I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be lifted up. As James puts it in chapter 4, verse 6, God opposes the proud. Asaph in Psalm 75 describes God's righteous anger with which he opposes the proud as a cup with foaming wine, well mixed, which he pours out on the wicked. All the wicked of the earth shall drain it down to the dregs. Verse 8, down to the bottom, the collection of the sediments and the potency of the drink. And that's what we deserve, right? But the judge is also merciful. As James says again in chapter 4, verse 6, he gives grace to the humble. He drew near, as verse 1 of Psalm 75 says, he drew near by sending his own son to drink from that poisoned cup. That's what Jesus is wrestling with as he prays with the disciples in the Garden of Gethsemane. He knows what that poisoned cup contains, and so he pleads with his Father, if at all possible, to take that cup away from him, although he has already committed to drinking it. Because of Jesus' sacrificial death, the fact that he did drink to the bottom that terrible foaming cup of wine of God's anger, those who humble themselves before the Lord, he will exalt. James 4, verse 10. Those whom God lifts up, not those who lift themselves up, but those whom God lifts up, give no credit to themselves, but give all thanks to God, as Asaph says in the first verse of Psalm 75. So we mustn't lift ourselves up. It's pure folly. We must humble ourselves that God may exalt us. Let's listen to that theme in Psalm 75. To the choir master, according to Do Not Destroy, a psalm of Asaph, a song. We give thanks to you, O God. We give thanks, for your name is near. We recount your wondrous deeds. At the time that I appoint, I will judge with equity. When the earth totters and all its inhabitants, it is I who keep steady its pillars, Selah. I say to the boastful, do not boast, and to the wicked, do not lift up your horn. Do not lift up your horn on high or speak with haughty neck. For not from the east or from the west, and not from the wilderness comes lifting up, but it is God who executes judgment, putting down one and lifting up another. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup with foaming wine, well mixed, and he pours out from it, and all the wicked of the earth shall drain it down to the dregs. But I will declare it forever. I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be lifted up.